Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Pro Lines and Raking Dimes, Sharp Lines and Raking Dimes. We're going to combine NFL and NCAA football together. This is our weekly recap show. And what a week it was. We're going to start with the NFL. I've got some things to say because I am really excited about the 49ers, but I'm going to hold my breath. I'm also really excited about my Panthers, but I'm going to hold my breath for now. Uh, I'm going to go. Let's go. I want to hear some totals. I want to see how good we did against the spread last week. Tristan, you got the totals for us?
Yes, sir. I'll start with the worst and I'll go to the best.
Oh my gosh, I'm nervous.
Coach Z, we gotta have a conversation.
No way, dude.
Yes, sir.
No
Nah,
way.
you didn't do like bad, but you were the worst.
I haven't been under 500 all season.
You went 7-8.
Oh, dude, I lost by a hook. The damn Bills killed me.
Yeah, it killed all of us. All right.
Yep.
So Coach goes 7-8.
Hey,
Donnie goes 8-7. I go 9-6.
all right.
What can you do, boys? It's 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
I mean, hey,
Hey, Don. Hey, I'm happy for Donnie. Everybody, give it up for Donnie.
my head.
From 4 and
Hey,
10
I ended up much better than that, and I told you guys I was changing some stuff before the game. The only one that I changed that lost was the Raiders. Like I don't know why I decided to go with the fucking Raiders. That was a dumb
I
idea.
went with them on the sheet, and I feel stupid.
and that's what I
Yeah.
want everybody to understand. These are we pick on Thursdays, and a lot of stuff happens between Thursday and Sunday,
Yeah.
and so a lot of things can change. Lines change, public money changes, bets versus handles, all kinds of stuff change, and so we change with it. You got to change with it, and that's what Donnie's talking about. Still, he came in second, so there's no excuse for that shit.
It's all right.
Um,
It's all good.
it's all good. We are
My
though.
hands getting hot, boys.
Yeah, he's on a heater over there in Carolina. Um,
You might want to put it in some ice water.
we got.
Don't want it to get
you need to
swollen.
be ambidextrous. Hey, we went four
I
and
am.
three on our consensus picks, correct?
4-3.
4 and 3, and that puts us up to
25 and 21.
20. What is it?
25 and 21.
25 and 21 on the season. I'm telling you, if I'm a beginner, if this is my first year, I'm not balking at that. I mean,
No.
you're in the game, right?
Yep.
You're in the game.
You're not making a lot of money, but you're making a little bit of money.
Well, you're
Yeah,
not
there you
losing
go.
money.
That matters.
You're not
Hey,
losing money.
before we get crazy into it, shouldn't we talk about the Hunch ATL? They just finished their first
Yes,
contest.
we should. Yes, we
Yes,
should.
we should. Okay, so
Okay, I was just making sure.
this segment of this episode is brought to you by the Hunch ATL. Go visit the Hunch ATL to help track your best, test yourself against other cappers, elite cappers now, and enter their free pick'em tournament and a chance to win $1,250 in cash every 2 weeks. I think we have an elite capper in the midst. Donnie, is that right?
I did win so they break it up into a few different things. They break it up into NFL first place, NCAA first place, NBA first place, NBA second place as well, and then hockey first and second place. And then so overall, I finished first in NCAA football and NFL football, and I was 20-11 on NFL and 12-8, I believe, on NCAA.
Wow.
Then Tony from our NCAA got first in hockey and NBA. So
Good
yeah,
shit, Tony.
Tony
it
in
was good
hockey?
times. Yeah,
Tony in hockey. Tony, why have
Yep.
you never said this? Why didn't you tell us?
I think he just tailed somebody. I don't remember. I think he might have been telling Amart or something.
I think I'm trying to get him on here real quick.
Hold on, no, keep going. I'm working on it.
I can do it right now, real quick. Keep going, Donnie.
Okay.
That's it. That was it. So we had two of the top four,
Two of the
and
top.
we had two of the top four, and we took all first places.
So,
Let's fucking go.
dude, so explain to our listeners. one more time, just like in real.
So basically you put in your pick and it tracks your picks. So yeah, DraftKings, FanDuel, everything tracks your picks. But these are things that everybody can see beforehand, because if you don't have DraftKings, I think it's the only one that lets you put in their social media so you can see it on their social. But if you don't follow me on DraftKings social, you can't. You have to have a DraftKings account and you have to follow me. On this, you don't have to follow me completely free. You can just go to the Hunch ATL, look at it, see what I've picked, and go from there. Now, do they have capper packages for guys that are wanting to make money on it? Sure, but that's not me. So yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. It's like what is the other one that we used to use?
Action.
It's like Action Network, so you can see what everybody's doing. It is a new site. They are working some bugs out. They don't have tennis yet, which really makes me mad. And I told them about it the other day. I was like,
but they are working on it. So see, here's
but
what happens, everybody.
That's all that I can.
Here's what happens.
Yeah, because they're not going to put that. They're not going to put tennis in the mix. Like that's not happening.
But this is what happens. This is why I'm
Just
telling
give me
you
the
guys.
title.
Go to Coach's Call. Look, Coach's Call, right here. www.coachescall.store. Click on the menu and get in the Discord. Okay, it's free. These guys were a part of us. We got together, and now our guys are winning their money, and we love it. And thank you, the Hunch ATL. Thank you so much for that. And it is a really cool website, and we are excited. They got a big meeting tomorrow in Atlanta with some radio personnel. This thing, I'm hoping it blows up. So if you guys get a chance, go to the Hunch ATL. It's a free to sign up. Be a part of it. You can see Tristan. You can see. Hey, there's Tony, the big winner. Hey, Tony, way to go, buddy. Big winner, big money,
Yeah.
dude. Why didn't you tell anybody that you were a hockey pro, brother?
I'm gonna be honest. I had no clue either. I was just throwing shit against the wall and it stuck. I was just trying to win any contest out there.
I love it, Tony. I love it, man. Welcome back, brother. Good to have you back. Yeah, the Hunch ATL, everybody. Go visit them. And before you do that, though, go to coachescall.store.
Buy a shirt.
Buy a shirt or a cap. Or buy a shirt or a cap.
I did talk to Summer. We do have some more stuff coming in probably next week as far as new products.
Need a freaking
hoodie. The big thing is you got to join our Discord.
All.
You got to join our Discord,
fellas. I wasn't surprised at all that Coaches Call members led the pack.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I kind of expected that. I'm not trying to be arrogant, but I mean, Donnie, Tony. I mean, you're talking about some wise guys here.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
you know,
Hey, I'm not Italian. Don't call me a wise guy.
You know,
That's a Tony.
You are part of the family.
I'd rather be arrogant.
I got inaugurated.
I'd rather be
This country
arrogant
boy
than
got
ignorant. Don't worry
inaugurated.
about it. But yeah, go out
Do I
there.
have to act somebody or something to get in the family? What I got to do?
We'll figure it out down the road, my friend.
There you go. I like it. I'll leave an important accent. It's a good.
Hey,
One
before we move on,
I'm talking shit.
we have got NCAA
man, we lost
basketball podcast coming up.
Who do we lose?
But that's not good because he's recording. So
Either
I
tomorrow.
would say we could carry the show without him, but it's not gonna work.
That's all right. He's back.
I'm
there?
on. What?
No, you froze on us.
Rick, you on dial up?
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I'm on dial up.
All right, keep going. Keep the show rolling.
All right, here we go, man. Hey, before we move on real quick, I want to make sure you understand that we have got a basketball podcast coming up. I think we're going to try to start it tomorrow, the next day. We're going to give you a rundown. We got Tony and Sit Dog knee deep into this shit. I know Tony loves it, and he's up there in Jersey. New York, I'm sorry. God dang, I keep fucking up. He's up there.
I think you're doing that shit on purpose.
He loves that. He loves that basketball. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be
He's gonna
fun.
send some knee breakers down on you.
It's going to be fun. You know why basketball is fun? It's because it's every day. It's every day. The portal, NIL, all that stuff is parity is great. But these guys have got some great insights, and I can't wait to start it. We will let you know, but it's going to be this week. We're going to start with NCAA basketball. But before we do that, on to the NFL. Tristan, I'm going to start with you. What stuck out in your head? What's going on? I mean, what did you see? What happened in another week of shitty NFL football games?
The Raiders are not that team this year. They were not even competitive at all. Derek Carr is starting to look washed. They added a superstar wide receiver for him, and it did absolutely nothing. Let's talk about the Panthers for a minute.
Please, let's talk about my Panthers.
So you want to talk about a heartbreak? I was absolutely heartbroken on Sunday. I was trying to figure out why too. Like, why would a 2-5 Panthers team break my heart? Number one, they were fighting for number one in the South, and number two, I think it was that Hail Mary to DJ Moore. It was probably one of the best Panther plays ever, honestly. And we go out on a loss because the kicker can't put it through the uprights from 33 yards out. You know, it is what it is. Number three, the 49ers are going to be a problem.
Oof, yes, talk to me.
And it's that simple. They put a beat down on the Rams without Deebo Samuel. Throw Deebo Samuel in the mix. Boy. Oh, baby. Donnie, what you got?
So I think you have two different spectrums here. You have teams that are just choking, and then you have teams that are starting to surge. On the choke schedule, you got the Bucks. Like, they get to the red zone, and they're like Tom Brady right now. He's not getting any scores. Like, they're not scoring, he's not scoring. You know, Jags, Panthers, Lions were up 14, and I told everybody in Discord, hey, Dolphins are plus 5.5, going to nail that. I even throw some on the money line and even threw some on the over. Cardinals choking it, up, choked it. It doesn't matter. Raiders, yeah, I don't even know if you can call that a choke. Jets, Jets choked it.
Jets are who we thought they were.
They are exactly who we thought they were.
Wow. How quick
Colts,
we throw people in the grease.
No, dude. That was their prove it game, and they blew it.
Okay.
Yeah. Colts,
you only get one shot with
Joker.
Tristan, so don't cheat on him and get caught, because you only get one shot with Tristan.
Colts are choking. Giants choked. Bengals choked. So you got some chokers in there. And then on the other side, you got teams that are surging. I don't know that the Ravens are surging. They played a decent game. They just got up, and then Brady just couldn't score until the last quarter. I mean, he had 2 quarters where he could not score at all. And they had a 10-0 lead. So, they just blew it. Falcons at 4-4, 4-4, and 7-1 against the spread. 7-1 against the spread.
That's the key.
6-2. They didn't
6-2?
cover. Yeah, they didn't.
Cowboys look like they're playing. At this point, do you even bring Ezekiel back?
No, I actually was surprised he didn't get traded today.
Yeah, Pollard, 14, 131, 3 TDs.
Here's the thing about the Cowboys, though. They are that team where if they're it's a family. When you do what you do, they're not going to treat you like shit and just they're not going to do that. And that's why.
Yeah, that's true.
The only reason.
That's true.
There was talks about
Dolphins,
them. They almost got a deal done with the Texans to get Brandon Cooks today. They were like
I heard,
close.
yeah.
They were this close.
But the Dolphins put up big numbers too. 29 for 36, 382, and 3 TDs. That's crazy. But the team that's quiet, this is the quiet team. It's the Vikings.
Yes.
6-1 Vikings.
Yes.
And Murray out through Cousins with 31 of 44 for 326. They didn't have the best wide receiver. They just, Dalvin Cook ran for over 100, but it was quiet, man.
It's boring, but it's working.
Yeah. Eagles obviously threw the monster up with AJ having 6 for 156 at 3 TDs. Derrick Henry continues to own the Texans. At this point, I think they make him a part owner of the team. Yep. 32 carries, 219 for 2 TDs. This is the 4th game in a row that man has had 200-plus yards against the Texans. He now has 6 200-yard games with 2 TDs. That is 3 more than anybody else in NFL history. That's a big number. But the Niners, like you said, they're coming on strong. The McCaffrey trade was awesome. He almost got 100 yards. And they did it without Debo. But the Browns are I mean, the Bills played the Packers. We're not even going to talk about that. You know it's bad when you see Diggs take that long catch and they pan over to Aaron Rodgers and he's just like, I wish I had somebody that could catch the ball. Like that's his face. But I think the Browns are playing pretty good at 3-5. God, if they had a quarterback that could just make some plays, it'd be great. And Brissett's playing good, but he's like Geno Smith. He's playing just good enough for them to win, but they're not winning because of him. And in this league, you almost have to have somebody that can win because of you. So that's kind of my breakdown.
What do you think, Tony?
To me, nothing surprised me this week in the NFL. I think everybody who we thought they were played true to who they were. The Raiders were the only surprising team getting goose-egged. Tristan said earlier, David Carr looked horrendous. But did anybody ever thought he was truly elite? He's so inconsistent throughout his career. Yeah, but throughout his whole career, he's been inconsistent. He's shown signs of greatness, and then he looks like he's a below-tier quarterback in the league who's getting overpaid.
Yeah,
That's fair. That's fair
man.
because I honestly, God, thought like we were going to see top 5 Derek Carr this year. I really did.
I don't disagree to that because he has shown signs, and now he gets a number 1 contending wide receiver who, if I remember watching some highlights, and he's not even looking to Adams sometimes. Adams will go on a little dig route, right? 10, 15 yards out in a soft zone coverage, and he's looking at the wheel route more, and him who's getting that flat zone coverage guy. So I think he's just making bad reads, and who knows? He has to change that. Maybe it's the system, maybe it's him, because Adams is getting open. You could throw to Adams, target him 15 times a game. He's going to catch it 10 times, and then double team him. Then you look to Waller. But everything else, I was not surprised. I mean, the Cardinals are who we thought they were. The Giants and the Jets are who we thought they were, in my opinion.
And no, the Giants and the Jets weren't who I thought they were. I was really pulling for both them motherfuckers.
I know, but
I'm down to rooting for the Carolina Panthers, bud.
But even the Panthers, the Falcons are surprising, yes, because everybody thought they were probably going to be a top 5 pick. But I mean, the Panthers coming off a huge win, this is exactly what it is. It's a letdown game for them. People think, oh, they just beat the Bucks. They're going to come in here and they might contend. They didn't do shit. They got lucky towards the end.
Pause. Hold on, Tony. That was No, Tony. No. The Panthers, that was a good ass game. We just got unlucky.
I'm not saying it's a bad game. It's 2 bad teams going at it. And
okay, I'll agree with you on that. I will.
It's 2 bad teams, and the Falcons have been overachieving all year, while the Panthers are kind of, like I said, every game played kind of true this week to me. The Panthers are who they thought they were, Like,
they're better since the beginning of the year, but I understand what you're saying.
You got a 3rd string running back. You're down to your 3rd string quarterback.
That 3rd string running back was a top 5 running back this week.
He was. A shout out to Freeman or Dante, right? His name's Freeman. Dante Freeman.
Deontay Foreman.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's baby Derrick Henry, baby.
Jesus. Here we go.
Sure.
Well, I'm rooting for the Panthers. Don't make me not like them. Shut up.
And how bad are the Rams? Just
terrible.
From losing one
They're
left.
Terrible with 3 R's, baby.
I'm a Rams fan. And all we really missed a step is losing old ass Whitworth, who's a Pro Bowler in his 40s.
That's your protein.
That line has just collapsed without him.
That's your protein.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been with him through thick and thin. The 2-14 drafting Greg Robinson out of Auburn, Jason Smith. I've been there. Mark Bolger era and all that.
Bolger era.
Yeah, the Rams are awful this year.
They're awful, but if you look at it on paper, they shouldn't be as bad as they are.
How do you go? I'm going to ask everybody. How the fuck do you go from being so good one year to so terrible with 3 R's the next?
They lost a lot of players.
I'll start with Tristan, and we'll go around the horn. Tristan, why?
Are we talking about the Rams?
Yes.
They lost a lot of players, and it was key players in my opinion.
Ooh.
Like
Whitworth,
Odell,
Von Miller.
Whitworth, Von Miller. Those are championship pieces.
Yeah,
Are they not?
absolutely.
Yeah, and when you take those out, I think the chemistry just got fucked up, in my opinion.
But Von Miller was an added piece midseason to get a chip. I get that. I think Whitworth is the biggest missing piece. He was that beating heart on that offensive line.
Yeah.
You know, the one who control and an old veteran. Like I
Yeah.
said, he retired at 41, 42 years old. And I still, on paper, they shouldn't be as bad as they are.
I'll agree with that. Your defense should be better.
Defense should be better. Jalen Ramsey's looking washed. It looks like the championship got to his head. You know, now they're just double teaming Donald, and we got no extra pieces to apply pressure. We've been missing out on good linebackers. We can't retain our linebackers over the past like 3-4 seasons.
I was actually reading today that you guys were really pushing hard to get a top edge rusher. And like it just didn't happen before the trade deadline.
And I knew we would have some regression, but I just wasn't expecting it to basically fall off a cliff.
Here's why I asked that question. How you go that bad? Because I was talking to some coworkers and we were talking about Joey Shiesty, and they were horrible last night. It was just bad, and they said, what was the receiver that we were missing? They were missing
Jamar.
Yeah, they're missing Jamar. And I said, you know what? From a team like that went that far, that was that good a year ago, to now you're this bad, and you're going to tell me it's because of one receiver?
It's true, though.
Because of one you tell me that there's not another millionaire receiver out of the 100 that are out there that can run a 5-yard slant, a 5-yard hitch, and just catch the ball.
Look at Joey before Jamar got there. He was average. Jamar gets there. He has an elite year. They go to the Super Bowl. And then Jamar comes in this year. Honestly, hasn't played that well. And then he's out now 4 to 6 weeks.
If that's the case, I'm an owner of any organization in the NFL, and I'm going to get Jamar Chase, and I'm going to tag him as my franchise player, and I'm going to pay him $240 million over the next 5 years like they do Dak. Because if he's that big of an impact, which I call bullshit on, by the way, I don't agree with you at all. But
Donnie's face.
I don't agree with you at all. I don't believe that one receiver can make or break a season. Donnie, please tell me why not. Where I'm
one
wrong.
receiver can definitely make or break a season. Let's look at Green Bay.
Okay.
Yep. Bam! That's all you needed.
They can definitely do it. Now, is that why they got beat? No. They got beat because they are the epitome of the Texans, the Colts, and most of the AFC teams, period, cannot stop the run. And what did Cleveland do? They handed it to Chubb. They handed it off, and they kept handing it, and he just kept bowling them over. I mean, it's not – if you're playing a ball control offense and your defense is on the field, 70% of the time, and they're just getting gutted up the middle, like they're going to be dead by the end of the game.
I'm talking about my Aggies. I'm talking about NFL, not as a joke.
I know, but I'm saying like it's the receiver could have helped them keep it close, but they were still getting beat because
here's where I've got a hard time wrapping my head around.
There's three teams right now that if you can't stop the run, don't play the Texans or don't play the Titans, don't play the Giants, and don't play the Browns. Like,
all right, I can't wrap my head around the fact that one player, especially a receiver, a quarterback, I see, a running back, I see, but one receiver can take you from the penthouse to the doghouse. Yes. I can't wrap my head around it. I just can't, because
it depends on how complete the team is. But that one
Joey was on his back most of the night, and I don't remember Jamar Chase playing offensive tackle, right guard, left tackle. I don't remember him playing that. He was on his back most of the night.
Well, here's my thing in most all sports you could look at, dating back to decades ago. A young team comes together for an incredible season, makes it any sport, NBA, college
Right.
football, college
I'm with you.
basketball. The next year, they're never as good. They all get high. Look at Jordan Poole of the NBA Warriors. They win the title.
It's a
He gets a
sophomore
little
slump.
cocky. He gets punched in the fucking mouth by a veteran. And
It's
then
a
you just have
sophomore
this,
slump.
it's just a young core. They have no real offensive squad. Joe Burrow's what, 23, 24. Jamar Chase is 22, 23. Mixon's 25. T. Higgins is under 25. They don't have, I don't know their offensive line like that, but they don't have that veteran guy to say, shut the hell up. This is what we need to do to stay on course. They're just a bunch of young kids, egos. Oh, get with the fucking cigar in their mouth, get the get. You know what I'm saying? With all that stupid shit last year, and they got full of themselves, and now they're getting exposed.
By the way, he did that after the national championship in college, not after the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, no, because then they started doing it all throughout the playoffs. Him with the cigar now after every playoff win last year they had him with.
I love it. And he's catching all them hoes too.
Jamar's
so
a top
look.
5 wide receiver, and I'll die on that hill.
Okay.
He's good. He's definitely good. But one
I would
player
never die on the hill on any NFL player, but look, here's what
Shut up and go watch the Aggies. All right, go ahead.
Wow, dude, that's just bad. That's just uncalled for, rude, flat out rude. Anyway, we're gonna move on. I digress.
Yep.
Here's my 4 top teams in no particular order.
I can't. I got to go back.
Go
So
ahead.
you're saying he's top 5. You're saying he's better than Stephen Diggs, Tyreek Hill,
No,
Cooper Kupp, AJ Brown.
he's better than
Devontae
AJ
Adams?
Brown. He's better
Huh?
than AJ Brown. He's better than AJ Brown and Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Yes.
So I've
Crack's
got
good.
I have got the NFL broke down into 7 teams. That's it. Everybody else can eat shit and die. I've got them broken down into 7 teams. My top 4 teams, in no particular order, but it might be in this order. The Bills, the 49ers, the Eagles, the Vikings. My second tier teams are the Dolphins and the Cowboys. And the last team in the race is the Ravens with the best running back in the league playing
What about
quarterback.
the Chiefs? What about the Chiefs?
Oh shit, the Chiefs. I'm sorry, you're right. Oh fuck, I forgot about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Chiefs take the place of the Vikings. The Vikings move down with the Dolphins and the Cowboys, and then the Ravens with the best running back in the league playing quarterback.
Where's the Panthers?
No.
I randomly I randomly threw on Daily Wager on ESPN the other day, and they were talking about a prop bet. I don't know where you can find this prop bet, but it was the Eagles, the Bills, and I want to say the Chiefs, but I don't think it's the Chiefs, versus the rest of the field, and they were minus 125 to plus 105. Those 3 teams, and
Yeah, that
it's
makes sense.
probably coming down to a 4 or 5 team race realistically.
Yeah.
Here's the kicker. You've got the top 4 teams with Dallas, Chiefs, Eagles, Bills. At the second tier,
think
which
Dallas
just
is the
call
top
it
4
is the
team.
second tier. Second tier
Wait,
is
let me write it
Niners,
down. Say that again, Donnie. Your top-
Cowboys,
Yeah.
Chiefs, Eagles, Bills. No particular
Okay.
order. I think the Eagles should be number 1, and then you can't argue with the Bills being number 2. I get it. Chiefs and Dallas is a toss-up. Then at the second tier, I've got Titans, Vikings, Ravens, and now moving up into that is the Niners. Now, if you go to the NFL Power Rankings,
I think you
They
should
got
add the Seahawks to that.
Shut up.
yeah, I don't.
No,
here's-
no.
Are you serious?
I get it.
I'm being dead.
I understand why.
Okay.
The problem is the strength of schedule for the Seahawks has not been the same.
Okay, let's talk about the
as-
strength of let's talk about the strength of schedule of the Eagles. They
Let's
play the
see.
fucking Texans Thursday. Like,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't want to talk about strength of schedule about fucking teams. Like, that's ridiculous.
Well, I mean, they've also played.
Damn, drop the mic.
They played the Vikings. They beat them, and they're in the top.
That's probably the most notable win they have on their whole schedule.
They beat the Cardinals and they beat the Cowboys.
Eagles are 20
with Cooper Rush.
Schedule.
Say it again.
See,
Tony?
now you're justifying
Eagles are
things.
28th in strength of schedule according to TeamRankings.com.
There we go.
I think the big thing for the Eagles is they've got week 13 and 14. They got week 13 through 16 is going to be their hell road because they've got the Titans. They've got the Packers, which may not be a cakewalk. It may be. You can never tell. But they have the Titans at home. Then they go to New York, to Chicago, and to Dallas. That's going to be rough. And then they finish off week 18 with the Giants again.
Okay.
So it's going to be their hell week. I don't think they can make it undefeated. Like there's just no way.
Well, here's
But that helps their strength of schedule.
Or all of you guys. Here's the way I look at the Eagles like this. Like I have viewed the undefeated Big Ten in college, Big Ten champion. This is how I view the Eagles this year. You go through a soft ass schedule. Your toughest game is probably the Big Ten championship, right? The Eagles are fixing to play their face their big, but they're going to come out unscathed until you get into the playoffs, and then your first couple rounds may be easy, but they've got the easiest road. They've got the easiest road to get there. That's why if I had to put my money on anybody, it would be the Eagles because they're going to go in unscathed because of the schedule, because of all that. I'm not saying they're going to win. Quit shaking your fucking head at me, Tristan. What I'm saying is they've got the easiest road. They've got the easiest road like Clemson. And we'll get to that. Sit tight, buddy. We're almost there.
Just throwing this out there. Ohio State has the 4th strength of schedule according to Team.
That's bullshit. We'll talk about that when we get there. I don't believe in all because these people that do all that bullshit. No, whatever her name is, the fucking judge that she's a part of the. Nah, forget it. Y'all, you really got me flustered now, Jack. But that's what I'm saying, Donnie. I think the Eagles have a great shot at it because of the lack of the strength of schedule. They got an easier road.
They have an easier road, but I mean, let's look at somebody like the Niners, who's everybody. Listen, they vaulted to top 5 of the NFL power rankings at 4-4, which is ridiculous. They lost to the Bears. They beat the Seahawks. They lost to the Broncos. They beat the Rams. They beat the Panthers. They lost to the Falcons and the Chiefs, and then beat the Rams again.
Who are we talking about?
The Niners. Now, their next test is they got a bye week this week. Then they have the Chargers, the Cardinals, the Saints. Then they have the Dolphins and the Bucks. Now, I know the Bucks have been terrible, but if you get Tom Brady for some reason a playoff chance in December, I don't like those odds.
Right. He won't do nothing.
I get it, but sooner or later the man's going to score.
You're such a fucking cynic, Tristan.
No, dude. Okay, if you actually watch the fucking game, the Bucks are awful. They're awful.
How are they awful? They're second in the league for passing.
They're awful because they're constantly playing from behind.
No, they were up 10-3.
No, they're awful.
I mean, the difference is that they can't score. When they get to the red zone, they just fold up.
All right.
They literally have the worst red zone offense out there.
Move on before you piss me off. No, I'm just playing.
All right, Carolina.
Hey, there's some great stuff going on.
Where's Baker at?
Oh.
Sam Darnold is better than Baker Mayfield.
I agree. Move
My
on.
son's better than Baker Mayfield.
So I've got just to recap. Yes, I'm with you. Here's that's all right, man. Thank you. Here's what I'd like to do is all 5 of you, even you, you're sitting there watching some college ball right now. Give me your top 5. Write it down, DM it and stuff. I'm gonna do a little blog tomorrow about what we talked about tonight, where we're at. Everybody, give me your top 5, and maybe add a little of why. And
top 5 power rankings.
Yeah, give me a top 5 power ranking going into week 9, and I can write about it a little bit tomorrow, and we can discuss it, guys. I'm gonna give you a minute or two. I'll give you 2 minutes. I'll give you Yeah, 2 minutes. If you have one last thing to say about the NFL, Tony, I'll start it with you, buddy.
Uh, Not much to say, honestly. The season is it's a difficult one, I say, this year. It's a lot of ups and downs, rounds and rounds. That's all I gotta say.
Tristan,
I like it. No, I think the NFL is as wide open as it's been in years. I mean, don't get me wrong, you got some teams that look like they're clear cuts, but I think every single team looks very beatable right now, for one reason or another. So yeah, that's my take.
Donnie.
I think part of that's right. I think every team has a weakness. I mean, we don't have the complete teams like we've had the last couple of years. The Chiefs can't stop the run. The Vikings, while they look good, they're a Kirk Cousins primetime away from losing everything.
Yeah.
So I mean, you've got some teams like that, but I think overall, it's how we started the season. I kind of said some stuff like, Indy's not that team, and I don't like the Rams this year. So I think we've seen kind of, they are who they thought we were. Carolina had Baker, and he's not that guy.
Shut the fuck up. We're not talking about that.
But we're talking about how the season started, buddy.
I think
That's what I told you.
I'll tell you what, honestly, yes. I will. I got it. We got to take it back, and I'm actually going to go back and listen to our first couple podcasts because Donnie was on the button about a lot of these teams, and it come to fruition. Here's my 60-second take on the NFL, Tristan, so you can laugh at something. But this is probably the worst NFL season as far as football goes, playing and watching and rooting for that I have seen over the past 43 years of my life. Probably the worst. There are only, for the first time in the 43 years of me, the 43 years that I remember watching, because I'm 53, in the 43 years, there's only maybe 4 elite teams, and the 49ers just jumped into the elite status with me. Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, and Niners. There's only 4. Everybody else, can milk shit and drink it. They're just looking from the inside out, from the outside in. And there's only 2 elite quarterbacks in the entire league. The other 2 are on their way out. Okay? I'm going to give it to Brady, and I'm going to give it to your boy in Green Bay. They did their thing, but now they're on their way out. There's only 2 elite quarterbacks left. And so it makes for really, really bad football for me. When I watch it, it just looks really, really bad. And I don't enjoy watching bad football. I don't mind a 10-7 ball game. I don't mind a 52, to 48 ball game either, as long as it's good football. And right now, I'm not seeing it from top to bottom, from left to right, from any which way. I'm trying to enjoy myself watching a football game, an NFL football game, but I just can't. And that's my 60-second take. We will see y'all on Thursday on our Pick'em show, where we're going to pick week 9 of the NFL. We're going to go through those teams and see what we get and try to be another winner. Guys, thank you for being on. We're going to move right into the college ball. Let's just move right in. We're already here. Let's just move into it. Oh,
I want to talk about trash ass college teams. Like you want to talk about trash ass fucking NFL teams. What you like to watch like 19-year-old kids run trash ass routes?
Wow. Oh, somebody.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Go ahead. I mean, these kids are only getting paid a quarter, or not even, or maybe a tenth of what the NFL players are getting paid. Yeah, we can talk about that. But first, I want to start with this. I want to go through these games that we half-ass picked. The top games that happened last week, starting with Ohio State, Penn State. 14. Ohio State was favored 14.5. It was close for a little while. Ohio State came back, covered with ease. Give me some thoughts on that game real quick, Tony.
I was on the money. I said it'll be close in the first half, and then the floodgates will open up, and it played out just how I thought. You guys were all doubting CJ Stroud in the first half over there, Tristan.
Still am.
And Sit dog. He threw out some numbers, and the numbers looked better than what I thought he even played. So
He didn't play good.
Ohio State looks good. I think they just turn it on when they need to turn it on. That's it.
Do you really
What'd
think?
you say, Tristan?
Do you really
I
think?
didn't play what?
What's
Hold
up?
on.
Sid?
Who said what? I had 2 questions coming in. I already knew coming in hot.
Number
No,
one,
Tony said something. You said
brought up-
something about. I
Yeah,
said C.J. Stroud was gonna boy Penn State, which he did, and he did it when he really and they got down, and he did it crunch time too.
He didn't throw us. Never mind. We'll leave it alone.
No, I'm just saying you brought. I didn't think his numbers were that good. He went like 25 for 32. You showed me for nearly 300 yards, and when you showed me those numbers, I was like, wow, that's better than I even thought he did play.
yeah, I didn't really. I watched the game. I really did. Ohio State at this point in the season, when you have to show who you are, because those votes are going to matter. If you're a big Ohio State or Michigan, they're going to have one loss, and if they have any hope of making the playoff, they have got to put up those style points. Ohio State looked not impressive to me when they should have. They're
They
impressive. Don't get me
also were
wrong.
without a top wide receiver last week.
Yeah, again,
Marvin
get me
Harrison
wrong.
played.
Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
the other kid, not Gene Smith or whatever. I can't pronounce it.
Don't get me wrong. Ohio State won, and the numbers showed an impressive number. Watching the game, it wasn't as impressive as I would have wanted it. Because let me tell you something. I would rather have Ohio State in the playoffs than Michigan. I loathe Michigan. Loathe everything about the from the blue to the fucking ugly canary orange that they wear, their coach, everything they're all about. I have nothing good to say about Michigan at all, ever. So I do want, and so this is why I'm saying Ohio State disappointed me this weekend. Really, really bad. They disappointed me because they didn't look the way I thought they should look. Donnie?
No, I think Ohio State played to the competition in this game. I think they're a much better team than they showed,
Yes.
but they played down to the competition. That said, how can you look at a game like Tennessee where they didn't play down to the competition? Or you can say Georgia didn't play down to the competition. So if you're going to be an elite team like that, you can't play down to the competition. I mean, you can't. And is Ohio State still number 2? Did they move to number 3?
I think they're down to
Because I know that was
3.
just released, wasn't it?
I think they were down to 3.
If you check your chats, I fired the rankings to everybody.
Yeah, let me bring that up.
The new rankings. Everybody should have it on their chat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
Before Donnie finishes his thought or we get off Ohio State, I have something to talk about.
No, go ahead. Sid Dog, Sid Dog, what do you think about that Ohio State game, bud?
Well, it's kind of like what we said would happen. It wasn't the way we thought it would happen, but I also think that start getting into October, November, you just survive. If you have to go on the road, it's still a top 25 team. You get the win, you move forward. You don't. Do you need style points? You don't really need them if you're Ohio State. You just need to go undefeated. I think they did that, and I also think that we're probably giving Penn State too much trouble for the getting run over at Michigan. But the fact of the matter is just sometimes teams and these kids show up in these games and the coaches don't have the right game plan, or they don't have. Maybe they're beat up from the week before. I got a fact I'll share with Syracuse later, but Ohio State won and they survived. And when they needed and when the bell needed to be rung, they rung the bell. They made plays when they needed to make plays. And I think that's important to see here is that. And they're also ranked number 2 here by the committee. So, I mean, all they got to do is win out. They don't have to do anything.
And I'm not going to blame Penn State for having James Franklin as a head coach. I think he's fucking horrible. I think he's sitting there way above. I mean, he's on a cliff that he doesn't belong to be. He should be down. He should be coaching at Boise State, something like that. That's where, or West Virginia, or SMU, something like that would fit him better. I think this is way too much for him to swallow. But I'm just, Ohio State did win the way they should have. Did they look? If I'm voting, did they look the way they should have? No. But the great thing is we have next week. Moving on, Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan minus 22.5. Donnie, go ahead and start us off on that one.
I mean, that's a hook loss and it sucks. But those things do happen. Michigan pretty much dominated the game. It was never really in question. Michigan State got up 7-3, but yeah, it was never really a question after that. Not much to say. I mean, you're going to have Michigan versus Ohio State. One's going to get to go to the playoffs and the other one's going to go to the Rose Bowl or something.
Yeah. Tony, what do you think?
How disappointing has Michigan State been this season after all that hopes last year? It's just they might be another team in shambles. Not as drastic as your Aggies and my Longhorns, let's say, but last year they competed. This year they started off ranked top 15, I believe, top 20 at least, and then they got smoked against Washington, and it's just been all downhill from there. They gave that huge extension to Mitchell, and is he worth the money? Probably as a head coach.
Tony, I always looked forward to Michigan State's last 3 or 4 games betting the under because their defense would get hyped up. They play tough teams tough in the end, and they don't even look like a tough team anymore. What do you think?
It's been sad all season. They're 3-5. I mean, they scored 7 points this against Michigan. They scored 13 against Maryland. They scored 7 against Memphis at home. Minnesota, excuse me. It's just they're just getting beat. They're getting beat. They beat a bad Wisconsin team, who's another program that's shit this season, and they're on the downtrend. It's just they have nothing good looking for them. Their quarterback's not good. Their defense looks okay on paper, but then when you look at the stats, 50 points, 28 points to a Wisconsin, 30, 34 to a Minnesota team.
Saying all that, Tony, I think Ohio State beats this fucking Michigan team by 3 touchdowns. Sid, what do you think?
On Michigan State, it's disappointing.
No, I'm talking about Michigan. What do you think about Michigan? I just think I think they're going to get drubbed by 3 touchdowns by Ohio State. What do you think about that?
I think Michigan's underrated. I think they're going to hang. I don't think they're going to get crushed by anybody.
Really?
I'm not high on that.
I think
for Michigan.
What's that?
I think Michigan does everything. I think they do everything well. They may not do everything great, but they do everything well. They can run the ball. I like the way their offensive line's pulling guys and making holes. They absolutely destroyed Penn State on the ground. Michigan is dangerous to Big Ten teams. Maybe not to SEC teams, but right now they're dangerous to Big Ten teams.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And watch out for Illinois. That's all I'm saying. Just watch out.
Somebody else said that in a podcast today I was listening to. Oh, the Veasan boys. I listened to the Veasan boys, and they said the same thing. When they ended their podcast, that's all they said is what Sit Dog said. Watch out for Illinois. Just watch out. I'm like, all right.
Illinois, quick sidetrack, is they're like top 10 in like 4 major defensive stats. I found that when I looked at the numbers when they were going to play Nebraska, and I just looked over the defensive numbers, I was very impressed, and I overlooked that game. I was upset I wasn't on that Illinois game this past week.
Damn. That would have been good to know a week ago.
If you go back to our beginning podcast, I've been on Illinois all year. I actually even said Brett Bielema going to the Big Ten with the SEC connections and the transfer portal, they could get good fast because.
Yeah. I want to move on to the Big 12. Those cannibals over there. It's real exciting to watch. All right. So Kansas State did what I think we thought they were going to do. I think we were all on the same side. I I picked the Okie State hangover. And then TCU late was a late cover against West Virginia. Okie State is Okie State. Texas was favored by 4 to open, and now it's a pick 'em against K-State.
Well, that's purely K-State. Like I told, I know when we were talking before the game, I came to the Discord and I was like, listen, the money is crazy on K-State right now. Like if you're not on K-State, you're doing it wrong. And now, did I know they were going to dominate 48-0? No, but I saw the money jump so fast. I was like, is somebody hurt? You know, what happened? No, it was just a game that the Sharps hammered, and I hammered it too just because of that. So
Yeah.
they're moving that way because K-State is playing amazing defense, and I don't think Texas can keep up with them. So yeah, I think that number continues to move as we get closer to it. I actually got it at +3, so I'm pretty happy. But
I also think that Ewers kid has lost his polish. He's lost Texas was favored. Texas was getting money after they saw that one game that Ewers played really well at, but now he's just not worth
One
the money
quarter.
anymore. Huh? What's that?
He played one good
Yeah.
quarter versus Alabama.
Yeah,
And
sorry,
I
yes.
think I mentioned that on the podcast too. It's like
Yes, yeah.
you can't anoint somebody after one quarter.
But they did, and they loved him.
They did.
They loved that guy, and they finally figured out. And I think the Sharps got it right after it opened. It was Texas -4. Now it's a pick'em, and I can honestly see K-State being favored by 2 or 3 points by the time kickoff starts. And then you got TCU, who covered late. Did what they had to do in West Virginia, and now they've got TCU coming. And Dugans, I call him Duger, quarterback for TCU, is a little banged up right now. There's some health issues there. So we hear. But now we got TCU. I'm calling the upset this week. I'm calling the Texas Tech upset this week against TCU at TCU's place. I'm calling that upset. What do y'all think?
Sit Dog's also on that upset. He already posted a ticket in Discord of Texas Tech money line. I don't see it after watching Tech against Baylor. They're on their third string quarterback. He looked good 2 weeks ago. Did not look good this week against Baylor. And I'm sure TCU gives up points every week. I'm sure he'll put up some points. And even a banged up TCU team, I can't get off that wagon just yet. I got to ride it till the wheels fall off. Dugan might be banged up, but he got playmakers around him. That kid, Kendre Miller, great running back, underrated running back in college football right now. And then they have the #1 wide receiver prospect in the NFL draft, and Quentin Johnson. I forgot his name last week. I'm trying to remember it. That kid's an animal. You put him up anywhere, put him in a slot, put him outside, put him in, put him out. It don't matter. He's a playmaker. They can score with the best of them. Tell me a third string freshman quarterback who might take the reins for Texas Tech is going to go on the road and beat them. Best of luck to you guys. I was off completely on Oklahoma State. You guys were on the right part with Kansas State, but I can't see TCU going down. They might go down the road versus a better defense or something, but it's not Texas Tech. Texas Tech is not that team.
What do you think, Donnie?
Well, TCU did exactly what they needed to do at West Virginia, going on the road in a hostile environment. Yeah, are they banged up? Sure. But as far as, this week comes, I don't see Tech putting up the fight that they have to, being on the road, and TCU knowing that they control their own destiny now. Like, if somebody doesn't knock them off, they're going to the finals, and as much as I don't think they're a caliber that could beat, Arkansas or Florida, Kentucky, whoever.
Do you think they could beat Clemson?
I'm not a. I don't think Clemson's that good.
Oh, come on, Donnie. Fuck.
It'll be
I
tight.
don't.
They're not.
I think that'll be a good game.
I do too.
I'm dreading the fact that there's going to be one SEC team in this, and it's sad because, and here's how crazy it is. Yeah, UT's number one, and we'll just jump onto that game. UT's number one, and they're getting plus 8.5 over number 3 Georgia. So, how does that work? Like, are the voters that stupid, or
Yes.
is Vegas that dumb?
I already told you the voters are that stupid.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Or does Vegas put in Tennessee as a trap line?
Yeah, you guys smell
no,
that?
that's not a trap line.
That's a rat in the house.
Yeah.
That's a rat in the house,
Shit,
gentlemen.
dog. I can't hear you.
Not so fast, my
I
friend.
haven't been asked, and I
Come
wait
on,
my
sit
turn.
dog. Talk to me. Let's go.
I think TCU goes down Saturday. I do. The fascinating facts that I was looking about at TCU was, I may have mentioned this earlier, but they beat Dylan Gabriel. Well, Oklahoma without Dylan Gabriel. They beat Kansas State without Adrian Martinez. They're beating a bunch of backup. They're beating a bunch of backup quarterbacks. TCU in the ranking that just came out by the committee is 7th.
Hey,
Lose.
sit. I don't mean to cut you off, but your mic keeps going out.
TCU 7th.
7th.
Sid, we can't hear you, brother.
We'll get back to sit. I promise we'll get back to sit.
Hold on, real quick. You guys watched a couple K-State games by now, right?
Yeah.
Yes, no?
Yes.
I have.
Yes, I have.
You guys think that kid Howard's better than Martinez at quarterback?
No, I don't. Better defense.
No, I'm just saying. I think they looked better with Will Howard at quarterback than they did with Adrian Martinez, offensive wise. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I get.
Yeah, I do
I think
too.
the defense has improved more than anything.
But then again, dude, we can't put a lot of. I mean, don't be so hard on Martinez. He's 42, 43 years old, man. So take it easy. The guy. I mean, the guy's been through it.
Hey, can
Tennessee,
you guys hear
He's back.
he's back.
me? Am I back?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think I actually put it on the Discord. I put it down. I think Texas Tech will win this weekend. I think TCU has had to get up for too many games. Anybody that's played football or been associated with people that plays football, you can only get up for so many games in a row, and then eventually it's going to wear down on you. I saw it last week with West Virginia. If West Virginia had anything of a quality of a football team, TCU would have went down. There's a reason why TCU right now comes out undefeated, ranked 7th in the rankings. They're going to lose, whether it's next week or it's in the Big 12 championship. TCU has issues, and their defense is atrocious. And if they get in the playoffs, that's fine by me. I'll make money on it because I'll hammer the hell out of the money line of whoever they play and they get in the playoffs. Because if you can't play defense at all, and they can't, they had to, I mean, and they had trouble stopping SMU. They haven't stopped anybody.
Kansas.
What happens?
Also,
What I mean, I don't, and this is the thing about Tennessee, guys. We can get into this later, but I don't think that if you understand football, you have to understand speed. And I don't think Tennessee even understands what kind of speed they're going to see Saturday against University.
Man, we're fixing to jump into it. Me and you are going to fucking buck horns right now. I'll tell you what. I agree. Let's get off of TCU because TCU's going to, if they make the playoffs, they're going to get their ass waxed. Let's jump into some Tennessee, baby. Let's talk to it. I'm going to let Sid Dog go first because
Rocky
Sid,
Top.
Sid, let me tell you something,
Oh,
bro.
don't do it. Don't do it.
Let me tell you something. These some bitches believe They are a real team. They do
They
have
are.
they do have good athletes, great athletes. They've got a great coach. Okay, no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna take the great off. They've got a really, really good, talented coach. He's got these kids believing. They've got that 30-year-old hooker, that quarterback, dude. I like him sitting there. I love their O line because Hooker doesn't get dirty. They are as fast a team as I've seen anywhere else in the SEC. Dude, Georgia might beat them, but they're not going to get their ass kicked. I'm telling you, this Tennessee team, for me, passing the eye test 100%, I really love watching this Tennessee team. Go ahead, Sit Dog.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. You want to spread out Georgia. The problem is with Alabama is when Kirby Smart went to Georgia, he started stealing the recruits. He started stealing the identity of Alabama. He started bringing these guys in. He said, you don't have to wait 2 years to play here at Georgia. I'll play you as a true freshman. And it showed. And right now you can talk about Georgia, and this is what I told Tony earlier. They just lost a first-round pick, and on Saturday, he's going to be replaced by the guy that he beat out last year who led the team in sacks. You're not even going to know he's gone. They're fast. They're athletic. This is a team built on defense. This is a team that's ready for Tennessee. They're looking forward to Tennessee. This is a Tennessee team that went to overtime with Pittsburgh. They beat Alabama by a field goal because Alabama missed the field goal. Are we just jumping a little bit too far ahead on Tennessee? Are they that good? They're not that damn scary yet, guys. They could have 2 losses already.
They're
averaging
49 points a game.
Yeah, but they're not going to get it on Saturday, buddy, because Georgia has the X's and O's. You can throw it out the window. They've got the Jimmies and the Joes to stop this. They've got I told Tony.
All right. Enough. Okay.
Get out of here.
Listen
Just
to me.
put it down.
Sit down.
Georgia,
Okay,
money line.
You better bet a money line and not on the spread, motherfucker, if you want to win some money. Let me tell you something. You are right 100% about the backups and the backups, because Alabama's the same way. Although we don't know what's going on right now with Alabama. They've got to regroup and revamp and all this other shit. Because they've got third stringers that are first round draft picks. Tennessee's not there yet. I will give you that. That their left tackle and their right guard, the third stringers aren't first round draft picks yet. I've seen what Tennessee's doing. They signed a cornerback today. They signed the number 1 cornerback in the nation. He committed to Tennessee today, so they're doing something right. But if they don't get hurt, if they don't get hurt, and they have got it to beat Georgia, they have got to play the perfect game, and I think they got it in them. That's all I'm saying. To beat Georgia, they got to play. And I'm going to say this on top of that. It's going to confuse the shit out of a lot of listeners because y'all aren't as smart as I am. Tennessee can't beat Alabama again. I mean, I'm telling you, you just can't do it. But those three teams can't beat each other 2 times in a row.
Tennessee's on the road. When's the last time Tennessee's been played an away game?
No, when's the last time Tennessee has been this good? I think you ride the wave here. Or not you. I think I'm riding the wave here. I'm a huge Tennessee fan right now because I want to see what the hell goes on at the end of the season when everybody, our top 3 teams in the SEC have 1 loss. I want to see what the fuck they do in the playoffs.
If I'm asking you to trust me.
Donnie, Tony, I'm sorry, me and Sit Dog took over here. Donnie, Tony, what do y'all think? Donnie.
Go ahead, Tony.
Oh, Tony.
I'm just gonna throw this trend out there. I know some of y'all don't care about trends and stats and all the numbers.
We love them.
Tennessee as an underdog is 2-10 straight up and 3-9 against the spread. When they are dogs, they don't cover. There's a rat in the house. You're going to tell me the number one team in the college football playoff rankings is an 8.5 underdog? Not a 4.5, not a 2.5, an 8.5. I think this is going to get, people are going to see it and say, wow, the number one team in the country plus 8.5, and throw the fucking, I don't know where the early money is, but they're going to fucking be all over it. All over it. And honestly, Georgia will pound that ass. That's all I got to say. I'm not big on Stetson Bennett. I'm not big on the kid, but he doesn't need to be good to win this game, to cover this game. You put a little pressure on Hooker. Me and Sid talked about it earlier. The kid has more accuracy throwing 40 yards down the field than he does have 10 yards down the field. So you drop 7 or 8 guys, you get a good 3-4 man rush on there. You make him just step outside the pocket and try to throw a 10-yard out. He's going to overthrow the guys. That's what led to his pick against Alabama. Come on. And we've seen it. Georgia is probably better than Bama this year. That was a tight game that Tennessee was lucky to escape at home. It's simple. Georgia, until proven wrong, they've won 20 straight now. You're going with a team that won 8 straight. Give me the team that won 20 straight until they lose.
Georgia's returning. Georgia lost a guy, but I'm telling you, they're returning a guy in the middle that's like Vince Wilfork.
Well, Sid made a good point earlier. Hold on, Sid. That guy went out and the line didn't change. That's not saying anything?
Yeah, because they're
So, Sid Dog, you were talking about the Tennessee Georgia, the difference between
Tony was.
or Tony was. Was it Tony?
Yeah, sorry. For those that weren't with us, Coach Rick got booted, so Tony was discussing it.
No, I think I finished.
Go ahead, Tony.
Booted. I don't remember. I don't know.
I know I haven't said anything, so I'll go on and jump in. Doing this for a lot of years now, I've seen this happen before. Vegas knows when something's going to happen. It's pretty simple. They saw this coming. They knew the voters would put Tennessee as number one. They knew that Georgia would drop. So what happens? They look at it from multiple angles. They say Tennessee does have legalized sports betting online. They know that Tennessee fans are fucking crazy right now. Like, they're through the roof. So they put this big number out that they can't justify. And if you look at the money right now, 97% of the money line is on Tennessee at plus 240. Yep. 90% is on the over, and 90% is plus 8. It's already moved to plus 8 now. So they knew exactly what they were doing. They looked at the public money and said, we're going to hammer this line, and it'll pull the line down. By the time game starts, it'll be 6.5. And then the sharps will move in and take over. And I think the sharps think this is a 10 to 12 point game. They may even think it's up to 14. So they knew they couldn't go too high with it because, you know, it wouldn't come down enough. But at the same time, I don't think there's any way Tennessee can run over Georgia like they did Alabama. Alabama, I told you, at Texas had a problem with the cornerbacks, and Tennessee exploited it for very good reason. Georgia doesn't have that problem. Like, they don't, and everybody thought they would. Nah, yes, is Tennessee giving up 40 or scoring 49.4 per game? Yeah, but they're giving up 24.7. And they have not faced an offense like Georgia has. I mean, Alabama is not that team. They don't have the same weapons that Georgia does. So I think this is a 10, 12 point game. And I think before the game starts, this is down to 6.5. That said, it may start rising back up when the sharps start attacking. Right now, the sharps are just sitting there going, please lower this some more. Like, all you public
so Donnie, at what point? At what point or at what number do we hammer Georgia Is it at 7.5, 7,
Six and a half is my number.
Six
Six
and a
and a
half.
half. If I see it get to 6.5, I'm bouncing.
Okay.
And it'll be my biggest bet so far this year.
Me too.
I'm already,
I'm with you. I'm
already
rooting.
on.
I'm just rooting, but yeah.
And listen,
That's
I
the
think
big
Tennessee
thing.
is a great story. I mean, I'm in Tennessee. I'm definitely not a fan of Tennessee, but this is pure mathematics. I've never seen a game this early in the week with 87% of the bets and 90% of the money, 76% of the bets and 90% of the money, 76% of the bets and 92% of the money. That's across the line, and it's getting worse every hour. And I'm just like, at some point, this is going to come down. I mean, I don't have a single game this year that has had that same number. There's a reason for it. Vegas is not, the guys that make these lines are much smarter than the guys that vote who's number one.
Then all five of us.
Now,
Kristen,
Donnie, real quick,
go ahead.
if the money stays consistently all over Tennessee and that line stays put, would you still play Georgia minus
It
the
can't.
8?
That's the kicker. It can't stay put. It has to go one way or another. Vegas doesn't care who wins the game. They could give two shits less who wins the game. They want even money on both sides.
Yeah,
they want.
I understand that.
That's how they make money. So when they see this, give it 24 hours and they'll bounce it down. And they won't bounce it much. They'll bounce it a half and see if it changes. And then if public money continues to pour in, and when I say public money, I mean right now you've probably got, I haven't seen numbers on it yet, but I'm guessing it's probably 20 to 30 million that has been bet on this game so far. We'll get a better idea by Thursday when all the casinos start dropping all their books and saying, hey, this is how much we've taken in so far. Because they don't do it until Thursday, and then they'll start. Then it's I think it's every 6 hours or something like that. But we'll see that line move well before then. Like it can't stay that pace because Vegas isn't going to take that chance, that they screwed up. But everybody in Vegas doesn't screw up.
They're okay
much.
being exposed.
Yeah, if they think they're smarter than everybody else and they've got an inside track or something, but it's
God almighty, guys. I mean, I'm just telling you. I mean, if you think Alabama's got players on defense, I'm telling you, this has been a 3-4 year thing in the making. Georgia's just been stacking guys on defense. So you're essentially you're bringing somebody's strength and you're bringing it in on Lassiter and these guys. And like I was telling Tony, I was like, I thought he might have Lassiter. I thought he might have 2 or 3 targeting penalties last week. Hooker's going to get hit if he scrambles. The speed of Georgia is just, they've overtook Alabama and as far as this. And if you don't believe me, look at the draft last year. Georgia had the most guys drafted ever last year. And these guys are fast. They're athletic. This comes down to me again to one of those things where I go, look, guys, Georgia's got the better players. And Vegas knows this too. And sometimes you just can't overcome what you can't overcome.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%. I am not doubting you at all, Sid. Because I'm the same way. I coached for 18 years. I would have got outcoached 50% of the time. The problem was 50% of the time I had better Jimmys and Joes. My players were better, and I knew it. And so and in saying that, dude, Heupel's no fucking pushover. Josh Heupel's a real fucking deal. And that's something. If you don't think that Josh Heupel knows what you're saying, and even more than that, has broke down this game even more than you have broke it down. How fast they are, how quick they are, what they do here, what they do there. If you don't think Josh Heupel's going to have a plan, then we are all sorely mistaken. In saying that, you're right. But I also put a lot of stock in these coaches. I do. And Josh Heupel's going to have something ready. I'm not saying they're going to win. I'm hoping they do. I do. I hope they beat Georgia. But I think Josh has got something there. Tristan, you've been quiet for a long time. What do you think about this game, buddy?
I
Georgia by 9.
I almost knocked my shit off the wall. No, yeah, I mean, that's the trappiest line I've ever seen in my life. And before we come on the podcast, I looked at the money and I saw exactly what Donnie saw too. Dude, Georgia's probably gonna obliterate Tennessee.
Obliterate. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, it's going to be exciting, and we're going to keep talking about it until it happens. I can't wait for Thursday. Because, I mean, we might have a knockdown, drag-out fight on a fucking podcast just over this one game. Who knows? But, yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens. You know, Kentucky, whatever. A&M, whatever. What stood out? What stood out? I'm not even going to talk about it. I'm going to start with Sit Dog on this one. What stood out most in last week's games, bets, handle, you know, everything we talked about. What stood out most for you last week that will have an impact for you this week in betting?
Wake Forest. Hell, I don't think I've ever seen a team have 8 turnovers and 8 sacks.
It's fucking crazy.
I mean, you know, if you have 56 plays and you have 8 turnovers and 8 sacks, you can't be no worse. I'm telling you, Wake Forest, Sam Hartman, the track record's there. This guy, he was ACC Player of the Year last year. Jump back on Wake. We're getting into that time of the year where, you know, you might not show up for a game. And I have no idea what happened, but I was watching that game, and it was the worst game Wake's played in probably 5 years. I took Wake over Louisville. They lost. I've already put up on the Discord this week. Wake's playing NC State. They're playing at NC State at night. NC State's got that backup quarterback. He's absolutely horrific. Look for Wake to bounce back even at a night home game at NC State. Look for Hartman to be sharp, and A.T. Perry should be a first-round draft pick at wide receiver. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. I'm not sure what happened, but I know they can't be any worse. And NC State's just – they're absolutely awful without Leary.
Is there even a line on that Wake Forest game yet? I can't find it.
It hasn't been up. It's been shady.
I think I saw it at 4, but I could be wrong. That's just trying to remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
4.5.
What about you, Tony? What did you see last? What was a big something last week that'll affect your this week voting?
It came out the cut. I wasn't expecting it because I haven't been following them. But North Carolina and that kid Drake May, redshirt freshman, this kid is fun to watch. Big frame, 6'4", 220 listed. He's probably about 200, but 220 listed. And he could throw all over the board. And they're 7-1, a sneaky 7-1. We watched the shootouts with them earlier in the year with Appalachian State and I forget who else off the top of my head.
Georgia State was the other one, right?
Georgia State, another one, yes. And
Georgia
I'm
State.
gonna tell you, I think Clemson runs the ACC. If I had to put money on it, I would bet everything I could on Clemson winning the ACC. But if I'm looking at the rest of their schedule, the shootout that they got into Wake could be a very similar shootout with my boy Mac Brown and this kid Drake May.
I agree 100%.
This kid Drake May, over 2,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 3 interceptions with a quarterback rating of 90. A redshirt freshman. The kid's legit, and he could run the ball. What's his numbers running the ball? Let me pull those up real quick. 400 yards rushing for 4.5 yards a carry. Their running backs are atrocious. Their defense we've seen is bad. It's getting better numbers-wise week by week. And I never expected to come in. I caught the end of the game when they just took over versus Pitt. I like that kid Drake May. If he continues and somehow pulls off the upset, him, my boy Dugan, should be in New York for that Heisman.
Wow.
I heard Drake May next year will probably be the number one draft pick, like number one quarterback prospect.
Kid's good. The kid is good.
Can Virginia score? Can Virginia score?
No, Virginia.
No.
I took them last week as a dog.
Okay, well that's why the total is only 59 in that game. So
UNC lost 2 starters. They lost 2 starters this week on defense, and you're talking, and we're not talking about Georgia. We're talking about a defense that is already bad and can't afford to lose 2 starters. So I mean, while I'm with Tony, like this looks good, I'd go money line. I wouldn't play the spread here. I'd be careful.
Against Virginia?
Yeah, I'd still be careful. The kid at Virginia still has capability of blowing.
I like that kid, Brennan Armstrong, coming into the season. It's just they have been atrocious. It's sad to watch. Virginia was a team I took a lot last year, and they dropped the ball this season a lot. That kid's numbers dropped completely. Brennan Armstrong, I feel bad for him. I think he's a 5th-year senior, so he's done. But just that kid from Drake May, it was the first time I really just sat there and watched him play in that second half. And they put up 28 unanswered, I believe. 28 unanswered. The kid looked good. And he's a North Carolina guy. His brother played basketball there a few years ago. I don't know if you guys remember Luke May. So it's just tradition. I like it. It's a feel-good story. They're 7-1. Let them go.
Let them go. Donnie, is there anything about last week's college football that stuck out that would make you look at teams, look at bets differently this week?
Not really. I mean, I think Ohio State plays down to their competition, but it's not really going to matter. You know, that's not a big thing coming up. Kansas State is playing amazing defense. I think that's interesting. Wake Forest lost to Louisville. No big deal. I mean, that they're not that good. Ole Miss Texas A&M was a closer game than we thought, but Ole Miss is still not the caliber of the top SEC teams. And then North Carolina started scoring again suddenly. I mean, we were on the over early this year every game, and then they completely died. And evidently May finally found his way back to throwing the football. He had like almost 405 touchdowns. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that I don't see a massive difference that would change anything this week. I think it's going to be more, game by game type thing.
I think there's one game this weekend. I think there's plenty of games that we can bet on and win. I think this weekend is a good slate for us to bet and win. Okay, put a little money in the pocket. Going towards the playoffs. I think there's some easy lines to be had. I think, and we all see where they are. I'm really fucking confused as to why my Aggies are 3.5-point favorites.
I said that earlier.
Against Florida at home. We're at Kyle Field. We're at Kyle Field, but it's 11 o'clock. We have midnight yell practice at midnight, and midnight yell practice from there, we go party. So our student section doesn't fill up till halftime of an 11 o'clock game. And we're favored by 3.5 against a Florida team. Why? Where? Talk to me, guys. Tony, you go ahead and start. Tell me why.
Let me put you up. I was just going to say, so are you basically saying to hammer Florida first half?
I've seen my Aggies. I love my Aggies. I don't want to do it. But if I'm a betting man, I'm hammering Florida first quarter, first half, third quarter, the whole fucking game. We're playing a freshman third string quarterback, and he's good. Don't get me wrong. But it's only, still.
Yeah, I
Hey,
think he's
yes,
better than King.
yes, I know. Thanks for
He
bringing
looks
that up.
better, and I said it before. He looks better with a week of practice under his belt too than when he came in against South Carolina. It is a funky line though. It absolutely is funky. But I think both teams are not very good. I think Florida is kind of hit or miss every week.
Yeah, I think it's a.
Tease it up.
Go
Tease
ahead,
it up
Tim.
with Florida. I would tease it up with Florida because one thing we've seen about Florida is they're trying to instill this culture. And like, I don't necessarily agree with it, and I don't like Billy Napier because of it. But like, there's kind of an agreement in the SEC when you're getting your ass beat, you just run it up the middle and get it over. And Billy Napier's going for it on 4th and 2 and 4th and 3, and he's trying to make these games. They're down, like they were down against Georgia, and they're still trying to. And it was like you could see Georgia just put the clamps down on them, score again, and basically just be like, stop it. And they kind of did the same thing with Tennessee. So the only thing that I say about Florida and A&M is if they're giving Florida points, go ahead and take them because the backdoor cover is definitely in effect because they're not going to give up. They're going to keep trying to score. And I would say smart money here, if you really want to make some money this weekend, go ahead and tease up Florida to about, you can tease it up a lot too. They'll keep trying to score.
Almost 10 points.
Yeah, I would tease it up and just I would, Richardson will probably run around. Just what does Texas A&M have to play for now? Like you said, people are entering the portal. They're going down the toilet. And Tony can attest to this last week. And I put it on the board. I told Tristan to take it. Tristan's got a little picture up where he's taking pictures of birds or something right now. But he said, what should we take this weekend? And last weekend, my best pick I said, take Arkansas. I said, Arkansas is going to win big. Tony can attest to this. I said, Arkansas is going to win big, and Auburn's going to fire their coach on Monday. And I said, I wish I could put that in the parlay.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is good. It's just there's not a whole lot. There's just not a whole lot, and it sucks. There's still going to be some fight in us, and I do believe Florida is not very good. That Richardson kid, he's like my ex, just as toxic as a motherfucker. You never know what you're going to get from one week to the next. But yeah, it just smells fishy. It smells ugly. Me and the wife will probably be there tailgating, rooting them on. I'm not going to step foot in Kyle Field, but we'll probably be out there tailgating and stuff like that. It's just one of those things. I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss for that. Texas Tech, TCU, we talked about. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you want to make some money this weekend and you want a game, I mean, I know I throw out a lot of games and a lot of parlays and stuff, but I mean, like, if you really want to get down to, like, if you want me to throw a game out there, I'm telling you, a good game to take this weekend is South Carolina on a bounce back against Vanderbilt. South Carolina has they had players to beat Kentucky. They had players to beat, Texas A&M. They lose to Missouri. They're playing Vanderbilt. That line's kind of low. If you're looking just to make some money, and I told Tony this, we were talking about this week. I was like, God, take teams that are on a bounce back because you just, Coach Z, you play football. Yeah. You can't get up for every game.
It's hard. Can't get up for every game. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, especially when you're.
It's hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And sometimes the best motivation is a loss.
Well, let me tell you. Let me ask you this then. I do want to talk about it because we talked about TCU, Texas a little bit. Baylor's looking better to me. Oklahoma, do they have the consistency to stay? I mean, and the Big 12 is intriguing. I've said it week in, week out with you guys. They're just cannibals. They don't give a shit. They just eat each other up. Like, who is the best team in the Big 12? I mean, is Oklahoma, or did they find who they were, and like, are they the real deal now? Because Baylor going to Oklahoma at a 2:00 game. Oklahoma's favored by 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's a
Donnie?
track.
Tap your deal, Donnie.
Oh, sorry. I think it's TCU still. Oklahoma's not that team. They're too inconsistent. You can say they found their way or whatever, but
Yeah,
they're coached poorly. I mean, it's just not it's a cluster. It's Texas.
it is. Tony, what you got?
That conference, Big 12, top to bottom, is the closest it's ever been. I mean, Iowa State is not bad, and they haven't won a game yet, and now they're a 7-point favorite against West Virginia. And that's why I love this conference, is because over the past few years, I said it before, Kansas was the runt of the litter, but now you don't have a runt of the litter. Maybe they're not all tier 1 teams, but they're all so good enough where they have talent. They all have NFL prospects. They all can compete any given week. You don't know. You can't just throw Georgia money line every week on a parlay and know it's going to be good with the Big 12, because, like you said, they're cannibals. And that's why I love that conference, is because Iowa State has the best defense, but they're the worst team in the league. I mean, it's
Tony, so we talked about it this week. Sid Dog, you did too. MAC action. We're ready to go. MAC action tonight. It's exciting. I mean, you got from here on out, we're gonna have football games every week, every day of the week.
Yeah.
Here's what's really, really intriguing for me in the Big 12, because I think they're a top tier MAC conference. I say that because of this. So Baylor goes to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's only favored by a field goal and a half, right? The next week, Kansas State goes to Baylor. The week after that, TCU goes to Baylor. And then the last week, Baylor goes to Texas. Call me stupid, call me crazy. I think Baylor can run the table on the last 4 games of the season. And then what?
Nobody cares.
Exactly.
I care.
The committee has already showed you what to think about TCU and the Big 12. And I told y'all that, I think, like week 3, that I said the Big 12 is done. They're done. They're out of the playoff picture. I said that a long time ago. Well,
the only way they stay in is if TCU goes undefeated.
Yeah, but who wants to put money on that? They've been behind every game. Oh, it's just not going to happen. TCU ain't good enough. But look, it's like Tony and I were talking about today. Here's my thing. I don't like to talk in bullshit. I like to talk in real. Clemson has a clear path. If TCU wants a clear path, then that's fine. I don't care if you take an SEC team. I don't care whatever else. If these teams get in, we make money because we just bet against them.
Yeah,
they'll get killed.
Exactly.
I mean, who gives a shit? If it puts money in our pocket, then I mean, what if Clemson plays Georgia or Alabama or Tennessee? I told Tony today, I was like, they're probably at least 12 to 16 point underdogs, and I would take. I mean, like, it's like, well, we could, here we go. Here we are, like the college football playoff. Here we go. And I'd be like, money line. We'd just go, whoever it is, Tennessee versus Clemson, or, I mean, a part of me is like, let's let these shitty teams get in, like Notre Dame, and let's make some money.
Donnie, do you think it would be if they do like TCU, Clemson, they get in? Do you think we'd see a line that big, 10 to 12, like around that? I mean, do you think
Yeah.
we'd see that in the playoffs?
No, I mean we will. We will. It's not last year. The last year when Cincinnati came out, and I mean the Sharps just freaking hammered the other side. They're like, no, this is not happening. Like Cincinnati, no, you're not that team.
Yeah.
But you do get a lot of home team favorites. So Vegas is happy with it because they were pretty. I think at the end of that it was like 60-40. So they were still pretty happy with it. But it was not close.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it. I'm all for them. Yeah, bring them in.
Kristen?
Could you see Georgia versus Clemson and Ungalele versus Georgia, and like Florida was like minus 23 to start, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking that if Clemson played Georgia, I'm thinking we're over. We're looking at about 14 to 17.
Yeah, it could be. It depends.
Clemson's secondary is atrocious.
There's a.
I think you would have a higher number if it was Tennessee versus Clemson because Tennessee's a better passing team on paper.
But would you agree, Donnie, that it's double digits if it's Alabama?
Oh yeah, it's going to be double digits.
Or Georgia?
I think
it's double digits.
I think you'll have. I really hope that it is 2 SEC teams and 2, then Michigan or Ohio State and probably Clemson. I mean, if it's not, then you're going to have whoever the SEC throws at them as a 10, 12 point dog or 10 point 10, 12 favorite minimum game one, and probably close to that game too. I mean, it is what it is.
Rick, Donnie, and you both you guys can speak to this. There's not no Mike Williams at Clemson right now. There ain't Sammy Watkins either.
No.
I mean, this isn't as there's no Deshaun Watson and there ain't no Trevor Lawrence.
But
You're talking about
this is why it's good for us, Sit Dog. This is why it's good for us, and this is why I want to bring it up, is because the people that vote, the rankings and all that bullshit, I put no stock in it at all.
Ted Condoleezza Rice on there.
Now the coaches poll, I'll look into the coaches poll a little bit. I will. I'll look into the coaches poll. I still think coaches sandbag, but I look into the coach. Everything else is bullshit. Who is that? And I don't mean, I'm not being racial, so nobody fucking throw stones over here. But there's a black judge, Supreme Court justice that votes in the rankings. Also, I don't know what her name is. They've got some dude, some physicist at Notre Dame that votes for the rankings. I don't give a shit who they rank. Like I really don't care. The playoff, it just doesn't. That shit doesn't matter. I'm with you guys. Give me Georgia in the Final Four. Give me Clemson. I'm a big fan of Clemson in the Final Four because we will rake fucking money in if Clemson makes the playoffs.
I'm praying for it.
Yeah.
I want that big Clemson. I want that big Christmas gift.
No, me too. I hope it's Georgia and Clemson. So yeah, we're looking at those different things. But anyway, hey man, I tell you what, this is fun. I like it. I want everybody, and thank you everybody who joined, listened to our recap show. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's really fun. There's a lot of things happening. We got basketball happening. I'm going to put Sit Dog and Tony's feet to the fire here within the next couple of days, and we're going to do our NCAA basketball start of the season, and we're going to keep doing that throughout the season, once or twice a week. We haven't decided yet, but y'all can keep for that. We still have Thursday night pick'em shows. NFL first and NCAA second. We're going to try to do it live this week, right, Tristan? So people can Tristan's asleep over there. So people can chat. Yeah, and drop their messages. I really would like that. We are really close to going live on TikTok and stuff like that. Donnie's doing a fantastic job on that, and that way we can get more people involved in these shows. Go visit coachescall.store. Please hit the menu button. Please hit the Discord. Join us on the Discord because these guys are on fire. They're doing a lot of different things. Also, remember, go visit the Hunch ATL. Go track your bets and go over there and bet against other cappers. Donnie won some money. Tony, you won some money. $1,250 ain't nothing to scoff at. Donnie, didn't you win 2? You won NFL
3. Oh yeah, I won 2 and Tony won 2. We both won 2 events.
2. I mean, dude, that's $2,500.
No.
It's unfair.
No. It's
unfair.
150 each.
It's 1,200 broke down.
Oh, 1,250 each. You got me excited. I'll tell you what's exciting though. I'll tell you what's exciting though is our 2 guys that are
Get
here
better.
beat their guys that are over there. So go visit the Hunch.
It's unfair. It's unfair, Coach Z. You're talking about guys from Coach's Call. You're talking about this group that we put together that have been. I mean, you got old guys, you got young guys, you got models, you've got these guys. I mean, Donnie's whipping people's ass. Tony's whipping people's ass over there.
Who's the models? Wait, who's the models? I want the models.
Oh, Doomfinger.
Oh.
Hey, make sure you go visit the Hunch. Go visit the Hunch ATL for all your betting needs. These guys are good. These guys are good partners with us. They're doing a good job. We're trying to do a good job, and we are.
Our competition, Donnie.
Our guys are winning.
They run models. I mean, we whipped them, and y'all made the money. But you know, you've got Doomfinger and those little guys there. They run their models. They can't even tell you who's playing. They can't tell you who's the quarterback of the Tennessee Titans right now.
See, when you said models, I was thinking different models. So
we were thinking pretty people.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Make sure you go visit our partners, the Hunch ATL. Go track your bets. Go over there, enter their free pick'em tournament every 2 weeks. You win $1,250 in cash. Visit the Hunch ATL. They're friends of ours. We're going with them. And Donnie and Tony are going to keep winning money over there. So make sure you go over there and visit them. Also visit coachescall.store. Coachescall.store. Hit the menu button. Join our Discord. It's free, man. You can get all of our stuff, everything we talk about. And like we said, we pick games on Thursdays. Things change. Bets change. Money changes. Everything changes. And we change with the times. We're about winning money. It doesn't cost you anything. It's all free. Also, you can join our merch. I mean, go buy some merch, a cap, a shirt, anything else. Guys, I want to thank you guys for being on here. Sit Dog, Tony, Tristan, Donnie, thank everybody for being here. It was fun. It was a good time. Thursday, we will be ready for our Pick'em, NFL and NCAA football Pick'em show. Make sure you join us. Until then, thank you guys for joining, and we'll see you next time. Adios.